Phantom sense. What is it? It's when you feel the sensation of being touched, yet no physical contact was made. A well-known experiment, the rubber hand experiment, tested this theory by having someone lay their hands on a table, yet laying their right hand behind a screen, so they can't see it. A rubber hand was then placed in front of them, and the second person would begin to tap the rubber hand and the real hand behind the screen simultaneously. After 20 to 30 seconds, the person would stop tapping the real hand, yet continuing to tap the fake hand. The person sitting down would begin to feel the tapping sensation on the rubber hand as if it had taken place of their real hand. Why does this happen? Well, as stated in the study for the rubber hand experiment, the physical similarities between your real hand and the model is sufficient to fool the brain into attributing the touch sensation to the phony fingers. Now, in a virtual world, there are large similarities to your real-life hand, to the point that the virtual hand moves when you move your hand, even your arm. If you have full-body tracking, even your body. This may explain why some people claim to have heavy phantom sense, because the virtual representation of themselves is almost in sync with their own movements. Some people are able to generate phantom senses by training themselves to feel these sensations. This player has played VRChat for 2 years and has some experience in the field of phantom sense and how to generate it.
Okay, so here's how I did Owen in specific have phantom sense. Initially, I just told him to stand up straight and put his feet on the same place as his avatar's feet were. When I wanted to have him look at his avatar's hands and know that his real hands were on the exact same place. Same thing for the feet. So whenever he looked down, those, even though they weren't his real feet, they were on the exact same place as his real feet. When he looked at his hands, same thing happened. One of the things that he did as well, used one finger, touched the palm of his hand. And his avatar, when his avatar touched the palm of his hand, he felt it. And once that's done, once the person just does a few things that force his avatar to create some actual repercussions on his body, light things, I just stood in front of them and made him start to actuate me to something real as well. Our headsets have spatial audio, so if I go from your right to your left, even if I'm behind you, you'll know exactly where my voice is coming from. And when I was with him, I was using more of a real avatar, let's say, with more skin colored, so not this, something that he could also actuate to something a bit more real. And whenever I asked him which side I was on, if he was correct, I'll just show him my hand. Yes, I am here. Yes, I am here. And then I went up to the front of him and I was like, all right, let's see if we can actually feel something. He just stretched out his hands. And I was like, let's see, can you feel this? And I pressed on his hand and he was able to feel something. But again, we took our 10 plus minutes going through the motions, touches and all. When I touched his hand, he did feel something. And when I touched his shoulder, he said it was one of the weirdest things he had ever experienced because he actually felt like there was something warm and weird just grabbing him on the shoulder, like a little presence that was there.
Quite a lot of players within this game have gone through the process of gaining phantom sense. However, some people had these sensations without training themselves. I interviewed some people from different parts of the world, the Netherlands, England, Portugal, and Switzerland, in VRChat. These people have experienced phantom sense whilst in VR and gave their opinions on what phantom sense is. How long have you played VRChat for?
Since the middle to the end of 2017.
Roughly since 2020 when I've had a VR headset, although I've been in desktop for about half a year before that.
I should have been playing VRChat for around 2 years.
5 years almost bijna.
How long have you had phantom sense for?
Well, I actually had it even when I played only on desktop, and then when I got VR and then eventually full body, it just got more and more intense.
I've experienced it a good majority of the time, roughly about 6 months in.
Probably 4.5.
I was aware of it on, like, I'd say the first 4 months of playing.
Which senses do you have? Do you have phantom sense, phantom touch, phantom pain?
Well, I feel basically honestly anything. I do have to see it to feel it. But I also feel stuff like, if there's a fire, if it's cold, if body heat.
I actually experienced something known as phantom smell. When someone was describing something, I could sort of piece together what that would smell like. I also felt some sort of presence of people there.
I think just phantom sense, in special regions, like some places more than others.
Did experience like phantom touch, phantom sense, and phantom pain as well. On the phantom sense, you usually feel kind of like a presence. When you're talking about phantom touch, you talk about things like when someone touches your avatar's fingers, you can feel it. When you're talking about phantom pain, let's say someone just punches you in the face and you feel kind of an odd feeling around your whole face.
Could you describe the sensation you feel?
It was a bit of tingling. Could sort of feel a little bit of heat, but it wasn't so significant. You've really got to be immersed to feel it.
And it tickles. When you like really focus on it, it really pretends how much you focus on it, right? So if someone's just doing that, you don't feel it. But when you like really pay attention to it, it's like sometimes it almost feels real, even warmth a bit.
Usually it's kind of a tingle-like sensation, but yeah, it's a warm feeling. It's a warm feeling on the area that you're being touched.
Would you say the kind of headset affects the intensity of phantom sense? So, having a Quest, having an Index.
I think that because of the video quality, that it's the higher quality compared to other headsets, make it more realistic. The controllers, yeah, because you can move your fingers, also makes it really realistic.
A factor of these headsets is resolution, and I feel like the more you feel immersed, no matter the headset, as long as you feel immersed, you can feel it.
Maybe for Index for the hands, because they're more realistic. I had 2 different headsets and it was the same for me.
Would you say full body tracking affects the intensity of phantom sense?
When you can basically move your body, it like you can see your leg moving. It's going from you sitting down IRL to being in the game triggers a lot more.
A lot, yeah. You're even more in the game, so half body is alright, but as soon as you have your feet, you can kind of see your whole body. Also, it expands the surface area.
Quite a few people feel phantom sense touch pain more intensely once they get full body tracking, because they can correlate their physical and real bodies more to the avatars that they have. If you see your avatar moving the exact same way as your real body is, you start to actuate your avatar body to your real body. So I would say that the headset and the haptics or trackers that you have will make you feel more immersed into the game and will, in some capacity, make you feel more of that phantom sense.
Would you say it's the technology bridging the mind to gain these senses, or would you say it's the mind bridging you to gain these senses?
I definitely think it's the mind. It's a part of your brain that basically makes you not know what is real and what isn't real because of how much fantasy you have and how much of an imagination you have.
In VRChat, I think the technology definitely has some part to play, because without VR headsets, without full body tracking, without even a screen in front of you, you wouldn't be able to see people interacting with you. And it's the interactions that sort of help your mind bridge the gap.
I would say a little bit of both. VR really pushes it, the technology of being in a virtual setting gives you the opportunity to see these things. But if you don't focus on it and you start to kind of train it, normally it doesn't happen.
I think it's mostly the mind. Like, this is still just a trick that your mind's playing on your body of some sorts, because yes, we all know that nothing is actually touching us. The more you equate your body to your avatar, to your real body, the more you're going to be feeling these weird sensations, let's say. But it is the mind that's just playing tricks on you, let's say.